All right, everybody. There is some interesting news that just came out a few hours ago. Apparently, Trump is planning to sue the DOJ, Department of Justice, over the raid on Mar-a-Lago. The search raid. I'm pretty sure it was a raid, like a full-on raid and then search. I think this has to do with the classified document stuff. Trump had held on to a bunch of classified documents even after leaving office, and not only that, but there's apparently evidence of his very irresponsible storage of these classified national security secrets and documents and all that stuff. And on top of that, there is even testimony, I believe, claiming Donald Trump showed these documents to other world leaders when they visited Mar-a-Lago, which is like a massive, massive no-no. Trump is still really butthurt over this, apparently, because now he's apparently planning on suing the DOJ as revenge for daring to care about law and order. You gotta remember, Donald Trump ran on the, law and order line so much, especially in 2020. And it's so funny now that he's, dozens of felonies deep and multiple guilty verdicts on, serious crimes, but, not really getting in trouble because he's Trump, deep. And he's still... he's going after the Department of Justice now as revenge, and he still does the whole I am the candidate of law and order bit. It's so funny.
And we're going to begin with breaking news in Donald Trump's legal fights. Trump serving the DOJ with notice that he intends to sue the Justice Department for $100 million over the FBI's 2022 search of Mar-a-Lago. Let's get right to MSNBC legal correspondent Lisa Rubin. So, Lisa, Trump says he intends to sue the DOJ. What is he claiming here, and what happens now?
Is this actually going to happen? Yeah, $100 million. And then also the fact that that this could very well just be some kind of, stunt, right? Because you got to think about it from Donald Trump's perspective. Right now, he is watching his campaign die. Every card he had in his sleeve, and even one that fell from the heavens, and him getting grazed by a bullet and, rising up like a badass and pumping his fist at the sky, and all his fans were cheering, that did not help him as much as I think he thought or needed it to. Right? Kamala Harris is continually growing in the polls, particularly in swing states, not just in the national polling. It's not decided yet. There's still no clear leader in these states because it's within the margin of error, but there's still a very clear momentum towards, Kamala Harris's polling getting better. And that might not be the end-all, be-all of the election, but Donald Trump definitely puts a lot of weight into it. And so, from his perspective, doing a big bluff about how he's going to sue the DOJ for trying to attack him and trying to politically assassinate him and engaging in lawfare against him, that actually sounds like a pretty plausible stunt he would try to pull as a desperate bid to slightly improve his voter turnout.
Let's start, Anna, with the fact that he intends to sue, because that actually is a really pivotal point here. Trump is letting the Department of Justice know that he intends to sue under a law called the Federal Tort Claims Act. That's where the federal government says, you can sue us and we'll waive our immunity under certain circumstances, but only if certain conditions are fulfilled. And one of those conditions is you have to give the agency an opportunity to respond. Short answer, Trump won't be able to file suit, I expect, for another 6 months.
Damn. Wait, even if he does, so this is best case scenario for Trump. This is him setting up his coup of the Department of Justice for if he wins the election. Right? So he's already gotten the Supreme Court to determine he's immune to any criminal liability for official acts, so anything he does in office. And now he's outright announcing he is going to revenge sue the Department of Justice. And now, so if he loses, it's not really going to be a big deal if he sues the DOJ. He's going to lose, it's going to be, but if he's president, I have a feeling the lawsuit is only going to be step one of what he plans to do to eliminate any entities within our government that could be a check to his craziness.
Could this have any impact, Lisa, on the DOJ's appeal of the case that was dismissed by Judge Cannon last month?
Technically, no. The case dismissed by Judge Cannon last month was dismissed on totally separate grounds. That is the question of whether Jack Smith, under the Constitution, had authority to bring the suit in the first place as the special counsel. But politically, could this muddy the water? Is this an attempt by Trump to take the narrative back and put the Department of Justice back on its heels by claiming the raid was unjustified in the first place? Absolutely. And as you noted, he's not only suing for $100 million in punitive damages, he's also saying that the government owes him $15 million that he sustained in attorney's fees just in defending the Mar-a-Lago suit himself, Anna.
Okay, again, that suit has not been filed yet, just this notice saying Trump intends to sue. Lisa Rubin, thanks for bringing us.
6 months out. There's literally no way that this could go through and happen before the election. So this is a plan, like step one of a plan that is if he wins, I think, or just a ploy to try and get more votes. It could just be a political stunt. I feel like this shouldn't even be the main thing hitting the headlines right now when another Trump-related story has just come out. We'll be talking about that in a moment. We'll be talking about that in just a moment.
It's that breaking news.
Oh, damn. Well, that's the end of the video, but might as well talk about this. So I covered the connections between Trump and Epstein not too long ago, and more stuff has come out even since then. But today, something absolutely wild happened. Genuinely wild. Trump took a jet that is not his own today. Get ready for this, guys. Get ready. He's not even trying to hide it anymore. Donald Trump flew on a charter jet previously owned by Jeffrey Epstein. A Trump campaign official said that the aircraft was provided by a charter jet service after his own jet had a mechanical failure, and the campaign had been unaware of the plane's previous ownership. I don't feel like this was anything like super, like, you know, super like groundbreaking or anything, but it is very funny because Donald Trump was publicly one of the closest public figures with Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell even before everything came out and the investigation started and Epstein was arrested. So it's really funny to me that it's all come around to this, right? This baby can hold so many pedophiles. Yeah, I mean, Trump's got some like some memories on that jet, right? He recognizes it. He's been on it a lot, you know? It's comforting to him. Former President Donald J. Trump's presidential campaign said on Monday that it was unaware that the private plane used by Mr. Trump for the campaign travel on Saturday was once owned by Jeffrey Epstein, the disgraced financier and sex offender. Mr. Trump blew hard. Mr. Trump flew from Bozeman, Montana to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and Aspen, Colorado on the jet made by Gulfstream to attend campaign fundraisers after his signature Boeing 757, often referred to as Trump Force One, experienced mechanical issues en route to a campaign rally in Bozeman on Friday. It's just so fucking funny, man. It's so poetic, you know? That Donald Trump spends all this time, like, bolstering the like, groomer allegations against trans and gay people, and, you know, he does the whole, like, Law and Order bit, as I mentioned before, and yet all the while, he's got dozens of felonies that have stacked up. He's, like, promising to sue the Department of Justice in retaliation for daring to actually do their job, and, like, you know, investigate the illegal shit he's doing. It's so wild just watching as this, like, mob boss wannabe manages to fool almost half the country into falling for his bullshit. It's so wild to me. It's so wild to me. I also, this is like a little bit related technically. I want to give a look at like how not believing in anything Donald Trump is. He really believes in nothing. So, who remembers pre-2016 Donald Trump? Could you imagine this today? Legitimately, could you imagine this today? This is a NBC News bit that came out after Trump won, and after he started doing like the anti-LGBT policy stuff, like after his trans military ban and stuff. Here's some clips of what Trump was like during his 2016 campaign when he was trying to push back and virtue signal that he wasn't actually the racist, sexist piece of shit that he is.
as your president, I will do everything in my power to protect our LGBTQ citizens from the violence and oppression of a hateful foreign ideology.
Mind you, this was back when like the #1 boogeyman was like Muslims. So you gotta remember this was back when Muslims were the boogeyman to fearmonger about. So the narrative back then was that he was going to protect LGBT people from Muslim extremists. I remember Sean Head buying into this. Yeah, well, to be fair, she's a fucking idiot and will buy into anything that sounds good.
The LGBT community, the gay community, the lesbian community, they are so much in favor of what I've been saying over the last 3 or 4 days.
So if Caitlyn Jenner were to walk into Trump Tower and want to use the bathroom, you would be fine with her using any bathroom she chooses?
That is correct. I am far better for women. I am far
Can you imagine
better
him
for
saying
gays.
any of this today?
One of the groups that's expressing fear is the LGBTQ group.
LGBTQ.
And yet I mentioned them at the Republican National Convention. And everybody said that was so great. I have been, I've been a supporter.
Ask yourself, who is really the friend of women and the LB and LGBT community? Donald Trump with actions or Hillary Clinton with her words? I will tell you who the better friend is. And someday, I believe that will be proven out bigly.
Bigly. Very bigly. Who remembers, like, every anti-SJW YouTuber who claimed to be liberal under the sun freaking out over people claiming he said bigly there? And claiming, no, he said big league. He said big league. It's a New York thing. He's a New Yorker. He said big league. He didn't say bigly. Yeah. Anyway, you would never say these things today. He wouldn't even pretend to be pro-LGBT like that today. It's really wild to me how much you can just, like, go back and watch a video of how much these people don't believe in anything. They don't believe any of the things they were saying back then. Is there anyone here in chat who will try and argue that Trump or the Republican Party actually agree with anything they said there? Because that was all for show. That was all to deflect accusations of racism, sexism, and homophobia. And that's how they did it back then. Nowadays, they just own it. Right? Anyway. There's a lot that we were covering here, but overall, I think it's just the fact that Donald Trump doesn't believe in anything, so when he calls himself the candidate of law and order, you can just look at every other instance of him claiming a thing and find that his actions say the exact opposite. And hell, he might even say the exact opposite a few months or a few years later whenever it suits him. These people believe in nothing. Anyway. If you liked or agreed with anything I had to say here, consider dropping a like. Every thumbs up, no matter when, where, or what you're watching, really does a lot to help the channel, boosts my content in the algorithm, gets me in front of a lot more people, so I really appreciate it to everybody who does that. And of course, consider subscribing and ringing the bell icon to turn on all notifications, and yeah, drop a like as well. Or did I already say drop a like? Comment as well, my bad. Commenting also helps, just like liking. And consider subscribing, or not... My God, I flubbed the intro. I'm so sorry. Or the outro. Man, I can't speak today. I've got mush mouth. I'm tired. Anyway, if you want to see more from me, follow my social medias linked down below in the description, including joining my fan Discord. It's totally free. It's the main hub of my fan base and community. And I also host game events, call-in streams, watch parties, and announce all my new uploads and streams there as well. So you won't miss anything if you're there and you have announcements on. And of course, consider potentially donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub to me if you can afford it. The direct support always helps a ton, and I really do appreciate it. You can also support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, Streamlabs again, because there's also my merch page on Streamlabs. Regardless of how you support me, though, even if you're just, just kind of lurking, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again.